All right, so let's start. As usual, we'll go through the. Actually, before we go into that, just a quick revision. Mudaf mudaf ilayh. What's the rule of mudaf? No alif lam, no tanween. What's the rule of mudaf ilayh?
Always majhul.
Always majhul, right? They're pretty much it. And then they have to be beside each other. Mudaf and mudaf ilayh cannot be like two separate, right? So let's quick review on the rule. Now the lesson. This time around, I don't put my answer there because I think it might be good practice as well, just to go through with everyone. So maybe you just go from here on the right. So the meat in the cup.
So my confusion here was because we said the milk. So should we say al-labanu or just laban?
Yeah. So milk, just labanun, right? So to make it proper, what do you have to do? Alif lam, and then
No.
yeah, remove the tanween at the
No,
end. Yeah, yeah,
So that's why I said labanu.
yeah, yeah,
Fi.
yeah.
I said kidri, but I think.
Yeah, kidron is the pot. Yeah, cup is kubun, or yeah, or I think teacup is fine as well. Finjanun, I think brother Israel put finjanun, which is fine as well.
Kas as well.
Cards, yeah, cards also cup is one second. Yeah, yeah. So the next one, the students' classroom. I think I skip you. But the Zubair is too good already. Right, never mind. Okay. He got everything.
Mistake right there. That's Jar. We're supposed to put that majhul anyway.
Yeah, that's alright. Alright, so the student classroom, yeah, brother Zubair. Yeah.
So first talibi kabirun.
Fasul Talibi
Kabirun.
Kabirun. So everyone got that? Any question on the first two so far? Okay.
Al-Labanu.
Al-Labanu fil Kubi. Brother Quram, number 3.
He is the teacher's son who are Ibn al-Mudarrisi.
Well, Ibn al-Mudarrisi. I think you missed the he.
Huwa, yeah.
So yeah, you missed the yeah, you missed the he. The next one, brother Sahib, you want to try? No. The doctor's desk first. So what do you do first when you see the form like that? Not sure whether, have you managed to watch the last video? Not sure whether you have managed to watch the, you couldn't, okay, never mind, I'll skip you then. But the, Rosman, number 4.
So, Maktibut. Maktibut.
Maktibu. That's. That is? What is that in Arabic?
Maktabun.
How come it became Maktibun? And Maktibu is wrong anyway.
Maktabut Tabibi.
Maktabut Tabibi.
Thaqilun.
Thaqilun. Which one is the Mubtada there?
Thaqil.
No, Mubtada.
Maktibun.
Maktabun,
Maktabun.
yeah. No, Maktibu. Maktabu. Which one is Khabar?
Thaqil.
Thaqilun. Okay. But what can I try? Number 5? Not sure. But Hussein, want to try number 5?
Number 5.
I think you got that right, I think.
No, I got it wrong.
Or just the... Yeah.
Mindilu.
Sorry, again?
Mindilu.
Mindilu?
No, it can't be that.
Why can't it?
The
It's not Mudaf Mudaf ilayh.
The handkerchief, yeah, المنديل
Mindilu?
في الحقيبة
Fil Hakibati?
في الحقيبة
No, there's two things wrong. Like Fil Hakibati, you say, right? Anyone want to try to correct that?
Fi haqibatiki.
Yeah. So,
Because of Jar.
Fi, yeah, because of the Fi before it. And then,
Where the mistake.
do you understand where your mistakes are? What
yeah,
was it?
because I'm saying V. I'm saying in the bag.
So, first, the Hakibatun, because it's Mudaf, it cannot have Alif Lam, isn't it? Because I think you say Fil Hakibati, isn't it?
Yeah, في الحقيبة.
So there's no Alif Lam because the Hakibah is actually Mudaf.
D is mine.
Yeah.
Mudaf. Because your bag, remember that your bag is bag of yours? When we reviewed last time. So it's actually mudaf mudaf ilayh. So you're gonna have alif lam for mudaf. Remember?
Because مضاف إليه أو مضاف.
Mudaf. The bag of yours. Remember that rule that tips that I give? So
Which one would be مضاف in this case?
so you try. You should have answered. So
Split
your
it,
bag.
it's a back of yours. After off,
Yeah.
it'll become مضاف إليه.
Yes, exactly. Understood? What is it? Okay. First, if you want to say the student's son, that's a bad example. Student's might be the student's father. Let's say, for example, try to change that to that form. How you say the student's father in English, not in Arabic. The student's father. How do you change that to the form that father of the student, right? Same thing. Your bag. How do you change that? Bag of yours. So anything before of, we said, is mudaf. Remember? Anything after of is mudaf ilayh. So now which one is mudaf?
Bag.
Yes, bag. So what's the rule for mudaf again?
It has to be. You can't have an.
Yep, and now and
You can't be tanween.
cannot have tanween. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So that part is solved. The haki batun should be at least haki batu, isn't it? At least
Yeah, it has to be haqiba.
haki batu. So that's just one of the equation done. So now you want to say your female.
That's where I'm getting stuck.
Okay. So your, if you want to say, let's say your, you remember the doma'ir mutasil, the attached pronoun table.
Yeah.
So if you want to say his, what do you add? What do you attach to an isim? No. That one belongs to. No. So you want to say huwa, and then you want to say his, right? Who or he, depending on the last harakah before it.
Yeah.
And then if you want to say her, you will say ha. Remember the table?
Yeah.
Do you remember the table?
And here.
No. I think you're getting confused. Okay, let's go to that table again because I think
on Tuesday, Sheikh?
yeah we did.
Starting with 33.
Oh, you should remember the slide even.
No,
Slide
I've got
number.
it in front of me.
Oh, okay. I thought you got photographic memory or something.
I've got it in front of me.
This one. So remember this table, we say that the pronouns, the doma'in is huwa, hiya, anta, anti, ana, and then the attached pronoun, damir mutasil, is he, who. To make, in English, it would be translated to his or him, and then ha is her, ka is you for male, ki is you for female. Remember this one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So now you want to say your as a feminine. Which one would you choose?
Yo.
Yeah. Actually, this one.
Female.
Something wrong as well in my English. Should not be you.
You and yo is different.
Should be your. Your.
Just put it.
Yeah. Salam. So yeah, which one would you choose?
Okay, so you choose yo, which would be
Feminine. Remember that it's feminine.
feminine. That one.
Which one? This one?
No.
This one?
Yeah, that one.
That one, right?
Yeah.
So you just attach it to haki batu ki. But the word is not done yet because why is it not done yet? Because if we go back to the question, I didn't say your bag, I say in your bag, which is what phrase is that?
Harf jar, yeah.
Harfu jar. So then haki batu need to be changed to
T.
haki bati ki. Make sense? I think your answer was haki bati ti or something. I think it was.
So
Yeah,
for-
it was pretty bad.
For the handkerchief, we'll say al-mindil.
Al mindilu.
So that's separate.
Yeah.
It's a
So
the
okay,
handkerchief.
a quick review, right? So
three is in.
yeah. So I mentioned before, in order for you to recognize whether something is a phrase or not a phrase, you see the is, isn't it?
Yes.
So the handkerchief is. So the handkerchief is actually the kind of the mubtada in this case, right? So it's not a phrase at all. Is it harfu jar? No, there's no huruf jar before it. Any of the huruf jar is not before it. Is it mutaf ilayh? There's nothing. It's just handkerchief. So it's actually a mubtada in this case, right? So you wouldn't change that to suddenly become mindilu for no reason, because as we said, mubtada it must be proper, right? That's the rule that we said. So jumlah ismiyah have two components. One is the mubtada, the other one is khabar.
Yes.
Mubtada must be
Yeah,
mubtada must be marfu and
um,
proper. Marfu and proper.
modified.
Yeah, marifat, yeah, proper, yes, same thing. Yeah, marifat, proper. Yeah. So that's why it's not mindilu, it has to be al mindilu.
Al-Mindilu.
Yeah. And the is there anyway. You
And
can
then
see
when you
the
say your bag, that's where you're going bag of yours.
bag of yours, yeah.
That's the bit which is the
Yeah.
mudaf ilayh.
Mudah ilayh. That's the bit of mudah ilayh.
That's what I got wrong.
Yeah. So this one, number 6, is actually a bit tricky. Who hasn't tried? Oh, what is that? No, want to try?
Not at this stage.
But Arif want to try? Number 6?
The last one.
Yeah. So you got wrong the last word, isn't it? You got it wrong. Lil, exactly. Al baitu
Yeah,
in front of is
Imam
huh?
in front in front
In front of is
Imam
amama,
البيت أمام
mustashfa, amama,
I have
البيت أمام
amamal,
إمام
no imamal, amamal,
أمام المستشفى
mustashfa.
belong to
Or does it belongs? It's one of the huruful jar. No. Li. Yeah.
لل
No. Principal is mudir. Mudirun. So again, belongs to the principal.
للمدير
Lil mudiri. And why do we say lil instead of li al mudiri? Anyone want to answer? Bonus question. Why do we say lil mudiri instead of li al mudiri? Just because of no. No. That's just how you write. You actually will omit the alif there. So instead of li al mudiri, just flow better lil mudiri. So you will remove that. So I think you got all the mistakes covered, right? Brother Hussein? Brother Rosman, okay? I think your mistakes was number 5, wasn't it?
number 5
Number 5. Now do you understand? It's not ha. Ha is different. Ha is for what?
Paying attention on the your.
Your.
Yeah.
Her. I didn't say her.
Yeah.
Right?
So
I
for
said,
number 6, quick question there. So
Yeah.
can we just say the house of the principal is in front of the hospital?
the what? Sorry?
If
Again?
you just
Again?
turn it around, if I go by to Mudiri, Amama Mustashfa.
Yeah, which is why when I respond to you, I say that I'm not looking for mudah ilayh. I'm looking for harfu jar.
Yes.
That's kind of correct as well. If you translate it the other way.
Sure.
But this practice, I'm looking for because I want to make sure
But
you
does
guys
that sentence make sense? Like if you go, so if we here go by to Mudiri, like we make it Mudaf Mudiri, the house of the principal,
Mm-hmm.
then Amama Mustashfa is in front of the hospital.
Yeah. You
Is
see,
that correct as well?
yeah, still makes sense. Yeah, Baitul Mudiri. So you make it mudah ilayh, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but like I said in the
Are you
answer,
looking
yeah.
for something else?
I'm looking for something else. Yeah,
Because
yeah,
he uses belong, yeah.
Yes.
yeah. It is still correct, but English. If I translate that to English, I won't get that.
You won't get that.
Yeah, that's all I mean. Yeah, that's what I responded to you. Yeah. Okay. Next one. I think this one a lot of people got it right. Except for number 2. I think number 2 a lot of people got it wrong. Okay.
Because it doesn't have alif lam.
Hmm.
Because it doesn't have qamisu.
Hmm.
Is
So it doesn't have alif lam. That's why it's marfu.
Oh no, that's not the one. That's not the one. Sorry. It's, there was one that I got wrong.
Yeah.
I got wrong.
So first, what's the translation? Anyone want to try? Want to try the translation of that Arabic? It's clean. Yeah. So the first one, komisu. It doesn't have tanwin because it is a mudaf, right? That one easy. I think everyone got it right. I think. Number 2, komisu is marfu because it is a
Subject.
mubtada. I think some people answer it as a mudaf. She mentioned a lot of times mudaf doesn't give status, right? She always asks that. So make sure.
Open modify.
Almost died.
She had needed a 5 weeks holiday after that. So Sheikh, we can say ma'rifa, this one.
No.
No.
Why would something be marfu? Because it's a marifah. You get what you are saying? You are saying that something is marfu because it is proper.
Because in this case, okay.
It is because of, yeah? Makes sense? It is marfu because it is mubtada of the sentence.
Because,
Yeah? Next one, status, gender, number, type. I think this one, some people got wrong on the type. What's the type actually of komisu?
Types more.
Hmm? Yeah, marifa. Why is it marifa? Anyone remember?
what's ma'rifa?
Marifa is proper.
Because
What do you say? What proper? Mudaf, because it's mudaf.
Because, it's
Yeah.
proper.
Mudaf is proper, right? As we learn. Yep.
issue that for me, I always had Khamis without the alif lam makes it proper. Correct?
No. What do you mean? Sorry again?
So Khamisun,
Komisun. Komisun is common, okay.
and then you put alif lam,
Okay.
and then it becomes.
Al komisu, become proper. Yes, correct.
So in this situation,
Mm.
it's not alif lam.
Mm.
So how is it proper?
Because we said in the last lesson, mudaf is proper. By position, mudaf is proper. Yeah, because it's mudaf. Yeah. If you look at one of the slide, I mentioned that mudaf. Yeah, mudaf is proper. So the type is proper. Later on, why is this important? It is important to know the type because later on we need to match. If let's say we want to do naq man'ud, right? We need to know the type because we need to match. So if you think the komisu is actually not proper, then you would attach an adjective to it that is not proper as well. You will miss alif lam.
Yeah.
That's why I just want to drill, make sure that you guys know the type of mudaf is actually proper. You can't see the alif lam, but it's actually there. Anyway.
At the moment, there's alif lam makes it proper. It might be a name that makes it proper. It's
Yes.
not put alif lam in front of it. And it is mudaf, that's what makes it proper.
Let's do a quick review on that one then. So
Use about
where is it? Type. Here. No. Where do you go? That one. This slide. So mudaf is always proper, and I even highlighted it in red because this is where the mistake usually is. Mudaf is proper, and then we say that the word that starts with alif lam
It's proper.
proper. Name of people, like specific name, I think spring name like Abbas, or places, pronouns huwa hiya, proper as well. Pointers are also proper. Zalika hadha. This one just keep it for now, number 6. Don't have to remember that too much. But for now, what's important to remember, because this one is not what they call that too intuitive. Both of it's really proper. You don't see alif lam there, but it's actually proper. The type of the word is actually proper. Okay. So I think, yeah, he couldn't make it. He messaged me. He couldn't make it. Muhammadin is majrur because mudaf ilai. Yeah. Think number 5. Think this one. I think I'm probably got it right. So status, gender, number, type of Muhammadin. Anyone want to try? Majrur, mudzakkar, mufrad,
And ma'rifa.
ma'rifah. Yeah. And then number 6, nadhifun is marfu because
It's covered.
khabar. So this one, a lot of people got it right. I think. Did you get it right? I can't remember. You got it right? Yeah. Alright, so that's basically the homework. Any question? Okay. So today we don't really have too much time left, but I think we can cover at least the zarf. So we skipped the zarf last time because we ran out of time. So I'm gonna go to the zarf. Zarful makan and zarful zaman. Yes. So we covered this slide, yeah. We talk about the mudaf ilaih. Remember that tip that I gave. You don't have to do it that way, but that's just my suggestion to make it slightly easier for you guys to identify which one mudaf ilaih. Yeah. But later on, that after this, you will see where this one is not going to work. But okay, let's go to that slide. So this one I think we went through the other day. was the rule of mudaf, the rule of mudaf ilayh, okay? And then we went through this slide as well. You guys remember, we identified which one is mudaf and which one without mudaf ilayh, based on the rule that we know. And this one we went through as well just now. So this one, the double, you just have to remember. Unfortunately, there's no tips that I can provide. You just need to remember the third person, masculine, feminine. If you want to say he or it, how do you say it? If you want to say his or him, how do you say it? If you want to say belongs to him, how do you say it? So those are the kind of 3 columns there. Yeah. So lahu means that belongs to him. Laha belongs to her. You will say, you want to say her book, then it will be kitabu, her book, kitabuha. So just need to remember that column there, so domir mutasil, and then belongs to is this column. Okay. One thing that I didn't go through in the last lesson is actually the whose type of questions. So later on, when you have time, if you go into the Madinah Arabic book reader, lesson number 5 and lesson number 6, there are questions with that look similar to that, like whose something is this. So an example is whose pen is this. So the way that you will construct that question is actually still a mudaf ilayh construct. Why I say that? You see the translation there. Whose pen is this? Qalamu man. So man, you can think of it as a mudaf ilayh, the possessor. You're just replacing, let's say, Shad with man. Man is who, isn't it? So you're just replacing man with Shad with man, or like Muhammad with Muhammadin with man. You get what I'm trying to say? So qalamu man is actually a mudaf ilayh construct or phrase. Does that make sense, or am I confusing you guys? Make sense? So qalamu man, and then hadha this. So whose pen is this? And then you answer like yeah, this is Muhammad's pen, for example, or this is pen of Muhammad. So it kind of follow the structure of the question in a way.
And we always say man, we don't say put kasra down or anything.
For man?
For man, we don't say like we said Muhammadin before for the mudaf ilayh.
Yeah, unless I think I'll go through that. There's some exception. Like if let's say the word after it is like say alif lam, then you would say minal as an example. But I'll go through that example later on. I'm not going to confuse you too much. So that's one way to ask that question. Whose pen is this? Then you put the mudaf ilayh version, and then just add hadha at the end. And then the other one belong to. I'll cover that when we go through the other phrase, which is the ismul ishara, mushar ilayh. So that phrase, I'll cover that later on. So because we haven't learned that one yet. But for now, just remember how to ask the question of whose pen is this. So just use that one. Qalamu man hadha. Okay. All right. So this is this 5. We call it al-ismul asma'ul khamsah. So the 5 special ism. So this 5, basically when they are a standard word without being mudaf, you see that might be too small, is it?
Yeah.
All right. So father is abun, okay. Brother is akhun. Father-in-law is hamun, famun, and then zu is the other one. So these 5 ism, when it become mudaf, you actually have to add something to it. I think you guys are all familiar with Abu, like Abu Bakr, Abu Hurairah. You will hear that a lot of time already, right? Why is it not Abun? Why is it Abu? So it is Abu because of this rule. When it is marfu, you see the actual what do you call that? Spelling. Lots of words today. So the actual spelling, there is actually a wow added to it. So Abu. And then if you want to say brother, like brother being the mudaf, right? So let's say for example, brother of Shad. You will say Ahu Shadin, as an example. So you have to add wow instead of just removing the tanween at the end. Because the normal word, let's say for example, you want to say qalamun, right? You will just remove the tanween at the end, correct? You will just say qalamun. Okay? But these 5 are exceptions. You have to add another thing, which is the wow, to the just these 5. And the only 2 that you need to remember now, because in book 1 and book 2, we are going to use it a lot, is Abu and Ahu. That's all. The rest, don't worry about it. I think Zu is book 3. Fu, we don't even use it too much at all. Hamu, I haven't found it at all in the book. So just the first two that we need to remember for now, at least for practice. So Abu, make sure that you add another waw at the end, and not just removing the tanwin. And same with Aku as well. Okay? So that's just a rule that you have to remember for these 5 specialisms. Any question on that one? Okay. Now the next one, this is where the rule that I mentioned just now can't be applied for this one all the time. So the example that I provided in the homework, we say in front of. You can still see the off there, and I put that on purpose because I just want to give you a taste of it, I suppose. So in front of, as we say, is amama, right? So amama, and then the word after it become mudaf ilayh. So just now, when we did the homework, we say mustashfa, but mustashfa doesn't show the status because it is a mabni, so it ends with lima surah, so you can't see it. But you want to say in front of the masjid, which is, I think a few people put, I think you want you translate hospital as masjid. So yeah, because we use that example too much. So I think people imam al masjidi, imam al masjidi. So if let's say it is in front of the masjid, you will say amamal masjidi, because it's masjidi is mudaf ilayh, right? So same thing here. Instead of saying, let's say I want to say behind the mosque as an example, how will you say that? You will say khalfa and then masjidi or masjidu or masjidi, because it's same construct. So the khalfa, you can think of it as a special mudaf, and then the word after it is the mudaf ilayh, right? So behind or in front or above, under, those are all mudaf, special mudaf. And in this case, it is actually they call it zarful makan, which is denoting time. Denoting place.
So anytime we see amama, tahta,
Mm-hmm.
fawqa,
Mm-hmm.
it always ends with mudaf ilayh.
So the word after it, will be majrur.
Always.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not going to say the exception. Yes, for now. There's one exception, the Qobla, I think, but never mind. Yeah.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah. Okay. So the one that I highlighted in red there are in the book. That's why I highlighted them in red. The ones that are not in red is just for your information for now. But the one in book 1 are those 4 at the top. And then another 2 here on this left. Ainda and Ma'a. That one, I think maybe we'll learn that. No, not today, I think. Because that one I think need a little bit more practice. So for today, for the lesson of mudaf ilayh, there are 2 things that I'm adding. So one is how to ask the whose pen is this type of question, which is actually mudaf ilayh fragment, and then you just add hada, whose pen is this, right? So kalamu man hada. That's one. And then the second one is actually zarf, which is, we can kind of call it as a special kind of mudaf, and the word after it will be mudaf ilayh, which means that it's going to be majrur.
How about if it's a name? So you ask me the question and then I say I'm with Harif, with Arif. Arif. You say in.
Going to be majrur as well, but depends. Then we need to think about, I can't remember, I'm not really sure whether Arif is a.
For example.
Yeah.
Or that could be.
Yeah, majrur. Yeah, going to be majrur. For Muhammad, yes. For Muhammad is a Arabic name and it's not mamnu min asra, blah blah blah. So yeah.
And then with the kaf, for example.
Yeah, so you will say by car, let's say for example. So you want to use Inda. So Sayyara, Indas Sayyarati.
Yeah, T.
With the car as an example, right? So Indas Sayyarati.
But then if it's a name, it would be tanween.
I think you're still getting confused between the tanween and not tanween, isn't it? Because you keep on asking me this question. So if something, okay, what you need to know is that if it is nakira by default, what is nakira? Nakira is common, right? Yeah. So let's say for example qalamun. Qalamun is a nakira word, right? Okay. So if, in order to make it proper, you have to add alif lam and then remove the tanween. That's what we said, right? So it becomes al qalamu. But if something is already proper, let's say Muhammadun, you can't add alif lam into it. It's already proper. So you can't suddenly remove the tanween without any reason. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So the example that you keep on giving is like the name and also the like
Yeah.
some, but name is already proper. By default, it's already proper.
And an object is different.
But then a car is not proper, isn't it? You don't know which car you're talking about.
Yeah.
But if you say the car, then it is proper with alif lam, and then without the tanween because alif lam is there.
Okay.
Get it?
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah.
I'll ask you again next one. Because it looks like you're getting confused with the.
No, it's just, yeah. So the name doesn't change, you don't.
It's already proper.
Yeah.
So that's why in the slide that if you have a chance to look at the slide, I say that if something is already proper, you can't add alif lam into it.
Yeah.
So mudaf is already proper, you don't add alif lam into it, it's already proper. So name already proper, you can't add alif lam into it, as an example. Yeah?
Yep. Yep.
Okay. So that's actually the mudaf ilayhi. How are we doing on time? Okay, we still got time. What else did I want to cover? I actually wanted to cover another fragment and also the gender today. Maybe I'll do the gender first because I think that one might be easier. And we have talked about some of the genders already. Okay. Okay. So as we said, ism has 4 properties. What are they?
Status, number,
Gender.
type, gender.
Yeah. So gender. So gender, there are 2 genders, right? What are the genders? Muzakkar, muannas. Okay. So we say that by default, word is actually muzakkar unless there is a reason for it to be muannas. Okay. So we have talked about, I think the first one, which is by the meaning of it. Let's say, for example, ummun is mother. So by the meaning of the word itself, then that word becomes feminine because you're referring to mother. Bintun, daughter, same thing. It is a feminine because it is actually referring to something that is feminine. Okay. We have also learned about words that end with ta marbuta. Let's say, for example, sayyaratun. I think we have already talked about that. Hakibatun. Those are, I think, the 2 that we have been using in the last few lessons. So those 2 words end with ta marbuta. So that's why the word itself, the gender of the word is feminine. Okay. Now, the new thing that we are going to learn today is body parts in pair. So if you look at your body, anything that has a pair is actually feminine. Hands, feminine. Ear, legs, anything that has a pair is actually considered a feminine word in Arabic. So in the book 1, 4 of those are mentioned. Ear, hand, leg, and eye. Eye, there's a pair, isn't it?
What's the slide number, brother?
Sorry, slide number?
Slide
17, I think.
17.
Got it?
Yes.
So ear, 2 pair, 1 pair. Hand, 1 pair. Leg, 1 pair. Eye, and ear. So those are the 4 that we have to kind of remember for book 1. The rest are not mentioned in book 1. But just, again, for your information. Okay? So, again, body parts in pair, you have to treat it as a feminine word. Right? So if let's say you want to say, let's say, how do I say his eye is big in Arabic? Big. Ainuhu. His, because he's, right? So you have who? Ainu, kabi, ratun. Because?
It's a feminine.
Because I is feminine. You get the reason now? Why is kabiratun feminine?
Just in pain of the eyes.
Yes, but
It's body parts.
yes, but I'm looking for a different kind of answer. I'm looking for like a
Ainu is a feminine word.
yes, and it is a mubtada. Ainun is a mubtada, isn't it? So khabar, yes, khabar must always follow mubtada in gender and
Number.
number. Remember that. So that's why it has to follow. You're not talking about his. His is not the subject. Eye of his. His eye. Although his, in English, his is the first word. It's not the mubtada. In Arabic, it's not the mubtada, right? So, well, even in English, you're not talking about his. You're talking about the eye itself, right? You're not talking about the person itself is big. You're talking about the eye is big. Okay? Make sense? Okay, Brother Said? Or you look confused, okay? Alright. So same thing as well. If let's say I want to say that is a lake. How do I say that? That is a lake. Tilka. So Zalika, what's the gender of Zalika? Based on the previous homework that we have done, you might not be there, but the Mudhakkar, isn't it? If you guys remember, we said that Zalika, the gender is actually Mudhakkar. So Badarif just now got it right. Tilka. So Tilka is the feminine version of Zalika. So then you get Tilka, Elik, Rijulun. Why is Tilka? Again, because in this case, Tilka is the Mutada, Rijulun is the Khabar. Again, both must match in terms of the number and the gender. Make sense? Tilka Rijulun. That. Then you want to say this. Okay, this is an ear. How do you say this is an ear? هذه هذه أذن. Yeah, because هذه again
So it's like
feminine.
say,
You cannot say هذا صغيرة.
sorry, هذه.
Yeah.
Also feminine.
Yeah.
I just confused myself again. Say, okay, هذه there.
Okay. So that's why if hopefully you guys can appreciate why I keep on asking about the status, gender, number type, because all of the rules basically you need to know the status, gender, number type depending on the obviously the phrase, right? So if let's say you want to say mutada and khabar, you want to make sure that the mutada and khabar must match in terms of the gender and the number. That's why I keep on. Sorry. Body parts in pair. The one that have pair, like ear, like head. There's no two heads. There's only one. So you don't use you don't call head as a feminine word. Make sense? Only the one in pair. So the one that you have to remember now are these four. In book one, those are the one. So ear, hand, leg, and eye. Okay? Now, there's another category that we're going to learn today of a word that is feminine without any reason. Just because the Arab say so. The Arab say these words are feminine, then you have to know that this is feminine. That's all. I can't help to give too much on that. So the one in book one, Kidrul, pot, which is the example or the answer that you give. Pot, sky, sun. There are more. There's actually like a story, but I'm not going to share that with you too early, I think. But there's like in Bayina, they give like a story for you to remember how all the words. But for now, just remember these three. I think that should be enough for practice.
So sky and sun.
Sky, pot, sun. For the more senior student, if you guys might remember, non-human plural is also treated as feminine. If you guys still remember. But Zubair, remember when we say kutubun, it's actually a feminine word, isn't it? We treat it as single feminine.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, so that's why I put book 2 there. But we'll come back to this.
Yes, because I don't know because when it is two. So Mufrad, yes. Mufrad, Jama, and Muthanna. Am I right or wrong?
When he's talking about one example.
So now, Kitabun, Kutubun, and what's the Muthanna?
So I think say just asking for example. So if let's say you want to say kutubun, right?
Yeah.
So let's say for example, these are books. How do you say that? To make sure that you understand what we're talking about.
These are books?
These are books.
Far away.
These. Oh, those. Yeah, those is fine as well. Those are books.
Simple.
Okay. So for this lesson, you don't have to worry too much about number 5. Number 5 is more for the more senior student, just as a refresher. of what that category number 5. But for the new ones, just remember the 2 additional things that we are learning today, which is body parts in pair, and also 3 words because the Arab said so. I can't really help you too much on that one. Just have to remember.
What are the 3 words?
Pot, sky, and sun. Kidrun, sama, and also shamsun.
They're feminine?
They are feminine. You treat it as feminine. There's nothing that's showing that it's feminine just because the Arab said so.
No chance of the answer. I mean, that's
Chef, explain please.
Okay. Quick exercise. You guys tell me whether these words are masculine or feminine. I,
Feminine.
feminine. Hospital,
Masculine.
daughter, pot,
It's feminine.
hand, fan.
Masculine.
Masculine?
Or fan. What is fan?
What is fan? Mirwaha? Bun.
Definitely feminine.
Feminine. She came out? This one should get right. She came out.
Gonna check.
Clinic?
Female.
What is clinic again? Oh no, I forgot what is clinic.
No, Mustashfa was the hospital.
It's small clinic.
Yes.
What is she? I forgot. I forgot what is clinic. No, Mustashfa. Subhanallah, I forgot what is clinic.
I think when the Sheikh was Sheikh.
I forgot, see? Clinic. What is clinic in Arabic? Sorry. Mustawsaf. Yes. Mustawsaf. So it's actually a basically word. Forgot. Nurse, I think in the in the book they use the different mubaridatun, right? So with the Tamil Buta, so it's feminine.
Hospital, we've said that.
Mustashfa.
We just said mustashfa, but we don't put any. We don't say mustashfi or we don't say mustashfi.
Oh yeah. But
So that's the status of it.
so
But
that
you can still have a different gender.
so the gender is masculine.
But
Because there's nothing that actually making it feminine. But the one that I think you were asking is actually the fact that it doesn't change.
it doesn't change.
Yeah, that one is because it's mabni.
Yes.
So if you remember the one example that I gave, like Musa, you never say Musi or Musu.
No, you just.
It's always Musa. So it doesn't change. You can't tell. Based on the word, you can't tell whether it is actually majrur. You have to look at the context. So let's, for example, the one that we did before, I think we said min qaumi Musa. Remember that? So Musa in that case is actually majrur, but you can't see it.
Well, you can't see.
Yeah, it's actually mudaf ilayh, right? So that's actually mudaf ilayh, but you can't see because it's mabni, so you can't see the status. Okay. The last one that I want to go through.
So,
Yes, sorry. Yeah.
with that question, me call me Musa.
Min qaumi Musa.
If you ask me what's the status of Musa,
What is the status of
so I
Musa?
say majrur,
Majrur.
even though the majrur is not there, correct?
Correct. Why is it important to know that? As an example, if you want to say not man'un, right? You need to know what is the status of Musa. Otherwise, you will put an adjective that doesn't match Musa.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah. That's why you still need to know, although it doesn't show, but you still need to know whether it's majrur or not. Okay?
Okay.
Alright, so the last phrase, well, there are 2 more phrases, but the phrase that I want to introduce today, it should be a short one because it's quite easy, I'm hoping. You guys will agree with me. It's called ismul إشارة مشار إليه. What is it? Okay, so we have already learned all the pointers, yeah? Hada, hadi, dhalika, tilka, right? This one, what it is allowing us to do is, instead of saying that is a pen, we want to say that pen. That's the only difference. That's the only thing that we are introducing here. Again, instead of saying that is a pen, we are saying that pen. So the way that we do that is, we need to make sure the word, the pointers, which is in this case, it says that, right? So let's say dhalika, and then pen, qalamun. It must match in all 4 properties. But to make it easier, for everyone, I think. Just make sure that the one that is being pointed is proper. So you want to say that pen, you will say dhalikal qalamu. You add alif lam into it. So instead of saying dhalika qalamun, which is that is a pen, you will say dhalikal qalamu, that pen. The is disappear because now it become a fragment. I mentioned before, if something is a fragment, there's no is in between the word. Remember that? Right? So that pen, dhalikal qalamu. Dhalika al qalamu. Let's say, for example, we want to say that book. So you see the status. This is actually marfu. As per our previous exercise, we say dhalika is marfu, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is singular, it is masculine, it is proper. So the one that is being pointed, kitab, kitabu, everything is already matching. The only thing that doesn't match is the fact that it is not proper. So you just add alif lam to it. So it becomes zalikal kitabu. The translation becomes that book. If you remove alif lam from book and you just say zalika kitabun, it's actually a sentence. That is a book. So the one that we are learning here is we are trying to make it a fragment. We're not trying to say that is a book. We are trying to say that book, which is not a complete sentence. Isn't it? That book, what? What about that book? You're still not saying anything about that book. That book is new. New is now the khabar of that book. Make sense?
You just add al.
Just to make it proper. So in order, you just add because I mentioned just now the rule is basically we just need to make sure that they match everything in all four properties. So basically everything is already matching, right? For kitabun and dhalika, except the fact that kitabun is not proper. So to make it proper, you add alif lam, then become al kitabu, you drop the tanwin. So dhalikal kitabu. So become that book. That's basically it. That's probably the kind of the easier one. The another example there is hadal Qur'anu. So you add alif lam, al Qur'anu hada. Let's say, for example, we practice the today, yeah? If I want to say this this eye is big. Kind of same example, but just to see whether you guys remember the rule. So I want to say this eye is big. How do I say that? هذه sorry هذه العين كبيرة.
But I is single now. It's not in pair. It doesn't. Isn't it? Has to be.
So the rule is we are not saying that when you are referring to something in pair, then only it become feminine. When there is a body part that has pair, even when you refer to it as a singular, you refer to it as feminine. Not that if let's say you want to say those ears, not when it becomes those ears, then you treat it as feminine. No, when it is singular, even when you treat it like, let's say this eye, singular, right? No s there, you still treat it as feminine. Okay, yeah. 9:56. Any question? I think that's enough for kind of the new. Oh, sorry, one more thing. It's a quick one, hopefully. Remember this one? The whose type of questions. So this is another way to ask the whose type of question. Belong to who is this pen? So we say that belong to is li, isn't it? Like lahu belong to him, right? So now, in order to make that in a question format, you say liman, which means that belongs to who. Okay, liman is belong to who, instead of saying like lahu, for example. So you say liman, and then hadal kolamu. What's the translation of hadal kolamu? This pen. So belong to who is this pen, in a way. If you translate it literally, belong to who is this pen. So that's kind of another way to ask, like, whose pen is this? Instead of saying the mudaf ilahi version, which is the one that I marked as lesson 5, you can also ask it in the lesson 6 way, which is liman hadal qalamu. Okay? Is it confusing? All right. So that's basically it for today. Basically, the mudah ilayh, we learn about the zarf, yeah, and we learn about how to ask the whose type of question, and then the feminine. What are the two new feminine type that we learned today? Like what body part and also
which is in pairs.
yeah,
Arab says
because Arab says so.
three things. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other phrase that we learned today is this one, ismul ishara, al-mushar ilay, which is basically you are pointing to something, and instead of saying that pen, instead of saying that is a pen, you are saying that pen, which is not a complete sentence, as we said before, fragment. So fragment is not a complete sentence. You still need to have a khabar with it to become a complete sentence. Yeah, Shams, Sama, and also pot. Yeah, Kitrun. Okay. That's basically it today. I think, as what we said last time, I'll have another session on Monday because I think the Mudah Ilayh, I think a couple of people still might be struggling with Mudah Ilayh because it's quite a heavy concept. There's a lot of things and with Mudah Ilayh. So we'll have another session on Monday, inshallah, to cover not just Mudah Ilayh, whatever that we have learned before that you guys have question, whatever. It's optional. If you want to come. If you can't make it, it's okay. And yeah. Oh, one more thing. We've got the prize for Brother Rosman for being the top scorer for the.
Chocolate isn't good for the health. Wallahi, mashallah, you bring us gifts as well. Take notice. Take notice, huh? Yeah, wallahi, never even given us. Not even a lolly. This thing at home, it's not enough.